Hey everyone, it's Simsbird here and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are all amazing and that you're having a great day today. So I decided that I would kind of do my first commercial lot, if I can say. I don't usually tend to do these because they scare the hell out of me, so I don't usually do it. But I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna just see how it goes. And I wanted to do a coffee shop basically, but when I tried to do the coffee shop, I was like, wait, I want to do a library. And then I said, okay, but wait, I also want to do a restaurant. So I just decided, okay, I'm gonna put them all together and I'm kind of doing like a New York UK kind of style where they all like fit together, if I can say. And I had a lot of fun, I must say. And while I was basically doing it and decorating it, I started thinking of like these backstories, and they actually very sweet. And I hope that you guys, you know, kind of stick around and listen to it because it's actually very sweet. And I don't know why I became so emotional with some of them, because I was like, god damn, like it's not even real. But I still felt like pretty sad, but especially the middle one. But basically what's happening here is what I'm doing right now is a restaurant. It was meant to be a coffee shop, but then I changed it into a restaurant. And then in the middle will be your library, and then on the side will be the coffee shop. So basically how it works, like this apartment kind of style. So they get to decide if they either want to basically have a double story apartment, so they can have an upstairs and downstairs and they can just keep it as an apartment, or if they want, they can have upstairs, downstairs as a shop or a restaurant or coffee shop, whatever you want to name it. And then also you can decide if you want to have upstairs as your apartment and then downstairs as the coffee or as a shop, not a coffee shop, whatever you would really like. But most of these tenants decided that they want to kind of have their shop at the bottom and then they will stay on top, because they all are quite relatively new. It has been there for a while, but it's still new, and they kind of just want to stay there. And as we go through the story, I'll kind of explain what will be the future of the particular apartment or shop. But we can get straight into it because I don't want to get too behind, just because I want to be in sync with my video, and I tend to be slow, so we're gonna go as quickly as we can. But for our first, basically the restaurant, we have a young culinary man, and he basically studied to be a chef, and he didn't have that much support from his parents motivation wise. They were quite a well-off family, so when it came to money, it wasn't really an issue. But his parents didn't really support him over the fact that he wanted to study culinary school. And the reason why they were not so supportive is because the decisions that he made in his life always were, basically he was very indecisive, and he himself knew that he was also a very indecisive boy. And the fact that he knew that, he decided that this one dream he's going to keep to himself, and he wanted to see that the moment that he, you know, starts to study, is he gonna still stick with that? Is it still something he wants to do? And it was something that he wanted to do, and he finished all of his years and he has officially graduated. So his parents were quite surprised, but they still weren't that happy over the fact that he wanted to move, because he wanted to move to San Myshuno, and that was the place that he wanted to go because he knew that his dreams will come true there. So they kind of lost a little bit of their relationship during that process, because, you know, they just felt like he was going to come back again and he was going to waste their money. So he told them, you know what, I don't need your money. I'm going to take my furniture that you guys paid for, I don't care. And I'm just going to move to San Myshuno and I'm going to put my own stuff in there. And he basically did that. He came here, he started waitering, and he worked himself up. So obviously we all need to work ourselves up, and he started waitering, and then he got a job at a restaurant. It wasn't the best restaurant, but he still managed to get paid, and he worked himself up, and at the end he actually worked at a very well-known restaurant, and that after that he managed to open up his own restaurant from all of his savings. So all of the furniture was basically brought from the apartment that he stayed in there by Brightchester, and it was put in this apartment once he saw that it was for sale. And it was quite beat down, the apartment, but he wasn't really worried about the apartment. He was more worried about getting his restaurant up and started, because he wanted to prove to his parents that he can do it and that this was his dream for so long. But because of the way that things were made and in his household and the way that he was feeling, he felt like he couldn't really be excited about his dream. And now that he finally is, you know, kind of getting his restaurant started and is well known in the city, he's quite happy with himself. And you will see he's not really much in his apartment because his life is dedicated to this restaurant, which became a very unhealthy relationship at the end, because he doesn't really have much of a social life as well, because he's so fixated on the restaurant that he doesn't, you know, spend time with his friends that he's made in the city. He's lost those connections because he's always like so fixated on trying to make sure that the restaurant is in top quality and making sure that everything's good. So he will never really want to hire anybody else to kind of take control, because he needs to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and that if his parents ever did come visit, that it is in top shape and that it's not a failure or anything like that. So he's kind of, you know, you can say like he's living for his parents, and there's a small part of him in this restaurant where he's doing it just to impress his parents. He's not doing it for himself, although majority of the percentage is him doing it for himself because he wants to do it. But there's still that part that of him where he's like, I need to impress my parents. And I feel like he doesn't realize that if he's trying to impress his parents the whole time, it's not really going to do anything healthy in his mindset, because his parents are always going to think, no, he's still going to change his mind some more at the time. So it will never really change that part, and it will always be the same. And it's just a little bit sad. But I think once he kind of shows his parents like, look, this is my apartment, this is all my restaurant, and this is what I've achieved, I think he will kind of let go of that little bit of a mindset. But if his parents had to come in a negative way, it would kind of destroy him a little bit. So even though he's done so good, he might bring himself down again. Okay, so the next one that we have here, I'm already behind, but the next one that we have here is actually quite sad. So this apartment is basically when the husband and the wife, it's basically like a grandpa and a grandma, when they bought the apartment, they bought it as a whole. So it was basically like upstairs, downstairs, so they had a double story. But after, sadly, her husband passed away, she kind of decided, okay, she's a little bit sad, and all the books are kind of sitting there, nobody's really reading them, and because she's not really a big reader. He was a writer and she was a florist, so he had a lot of books lying everywhere. Like there's bookshelves, there's papers, there's all of these things just lying around that we'll see upstairs when we go there. But basically, once her husband passed away, she couldn't really bring herself to get rid of the books, and she felt sad because nobody was using them. And like I said, she wasn't a reader, so she knew she wasn't going to use them, but she wanted to make sure that it was being used, just so that she can feel a little bit better, so that even though it's sitting there, she can still feel like there's a part of him, and she can make sure that the books are being loved, because he loved the books so much. So she knew that he would want these books to be read and all of that. And after that, she kind of decided, okay, I'm going to open up a library downstairs. So she took a few things, like mainly like couches and stuff. Upstairs, there's still a few couches down there. Like you'll see there's still things that couldn't really be moved. So like the bookshelves and the fireplace and all of that. And she kind of added like the kids' little corner, because her kids don't visit that often. And especially after her husband died, they didn't really, you know, comfort her or see her or anything like that. So she was quite lonely. So she made this little corner just so that once there was kids that came in, like she could spend a little bit of time with them and all of that. So she was always mainly concentrated on the kids if somebody brought kids in, rather than like the adults at the end of the day. So yeah, it was actually like a little bit sad, but because of that, like her kids not visiting and all of that, she also felt very, very lonely. But she felt also very in her comfort zone, because she obviously loved making flowers and all of that, so she enjoyed it, and that was a passion of hers. And while she was making flowers, like, it made her heart warm when she saw people just like sitting there having like a cup of coffee from the store next door, and you know, just reading her books, or you know, just taking the books and going to the coffee shop and reading the books there. It made her heart very warm, so she was very happy about that. But we'll go more into it as we go upstairs. And over here we have a coffee shop. So this one is actually a very, very fun, creative kind of girl that stays here. So she basically is an artist, and she wanted to kind of express herself in a way that people can just like sit around and just enjoy her art. So she decided that she was going to get this apartment. She recently moved in, so everything is quite like new and fixed up. But once she decided that she was going to move here, she made it into a coffee shop downstairs, and you'll see there's a few painting pieces. There's not a lot because it is relatively new and she's still busy painting, but she wants to put like specific kind of paintings in the house. So most of the paintings are upstairs, but there is like, I think, one painting so far. But she basically wants to have this coffee shop as a place where people can have coffee and just enjoy her artwork, maybe buy her artwork, or even ask her to paint a painting for them, basically them requesting it and all that. So she just felt like she wanted to have a good connection with the coffee shop and the people that came in there, so that she could have like friends, and you know, she felt like she just wanted to let her outlet out, and that's exactly what she's doing. And I'm very excited to see what she will, you know, make and come of, because I feel like she can go like a pretty far way. So as you can see, there's like a lot of different colors, and that's because that's just her personality. She's an artist and she just loves all these different kinds of colors, and just I feel like the way that the coffee shop looks is exactly her personality. It's just comforting, it's positive, she's just the type of girl that will do anything and does not ask any questions. She just has fun. There's no like regrets in her life or anything like that. So I made basically like a kitchen here as well for the back, but when you guys play it, just make sure that you put on BB move objects. And also, if you want to stay here, just make sure to lock the rooms, because when I was actually taking photos, there were already people up in the rooms, and I was like, no. But yeah, so just to make sure that you lock the rooms, otherwise they're gonna go in all the rooms. But when I played, like, I saw some people sitting there by the coffee shop and some sat there by the restaurant, so it was quite nice. But yeah, just to like give you a little bit inside of that, I made like a little section because I wanted to do like the waitering station, sorry. But then I knew if I did that, they were basically gonna go, the waiters are gonna come to that area and then waiter over there. So I was like, okay, no, wait. So I just changed it into like a little nook, a book nook area, if that makes sense. So that's just a little place where they can like come and sit. It wouldn't be the best situation because the staff members are just gonna walk past there all the time. But yeah, I just had to change it kind of into something else. Also, the outside, I didn't do much because I felt like, you know, they wouldn't really have that much. But if you guys want to add more, you can definitely add more. But as we're gonna, you know, putting the trees down, blah blah, I'm gonna kind of go into the story of the restaurant again. So back to him. We were gonna be calling the first one the culinary boy, the middle one is Granny, and the last one is Creative Girl, just so that we can have like names for them, because I actually don't know which names would go with them. So I'm just making it that little heading for you guys so long. But okay, so as you can see, it's very old. So I was actually having a lot of fun because my friend Ribbity actually gifted me the City Living Pack, and I was so excited because then I got to do this, and it was like the perfect area to be in. So I like decided, okay, I want to make like a video basically based on that. But I had a lot of fun just with, I know the cracks are from vampires, but I feel like with the whole, you know, moldy walls and all of that stuff, it just made it even better. So basically, like I said, with the story, he didn't put a lot of money in his apartment. He literally just brought all of his things from his apartment there in Brightchester. He put it here and he didn't fix anything else, so everything was just moldy and old and just terrible. So that's why it looks the way it looks. I don't think that he will exactly patch it up just yet, because I think that he will buy an apartment somewhere else in San Myshuno, and then he will basically extend his restaurant to the top. So that's very exciting for him, because I feel like, you know, he's just dabbling his feet in the water and all that, and he's just seeing how it's going, and if he feels like it's successful enough, he's gonna definitely extend to the top. So that's kind of exciting for him. But I find it like really fun to do this kind of room, because I didn't expect, each room is like so different, and I never knew that I could do it, because I don't know if I actually did it, but it was fun to kind of play around with the backstories, because it made it a lot easier to kind of decorate. But you can see there's like his suitcases are still sitting there. He's not really like permanently moved in there, he's just, you know, made himself comfortable, and that is it. Okay, so the next one that we have is our lovely little granny. I feel so sad for her. Like, as I was building, I was like, oh, my poor granny. And I tried my best to like make it as nice for her, so that she can feel like homey and still have like a few things of her husband. But I try to like put certain things in the house that made the story of where she's not really ready to move on just yet. She is still very raw of the situation and very still sad and depressed about it, and she can't really find herself to remove those things just yet. She still feels like she needs to keep those things in her like apartment now. I think there's certain things that she has in an apartment that is his. She might move it downstairs and kind of put it in the library just so that it can feel more of him. But I'm not sure when she will kind of move on and realize like, okay, maybe it's time for me to kind of take the things out and, you know, put it somewhere where it will be loved. And because she doesn't really sit on it, she doesn't really use it. Like, even on her dresser there's books of his, but she doesn't use it anymore because it's just too heartbreaking for her. So it's very like sad. I don't know, I just got very emotional. But you'll see as I go on. So basically, like, that chair, so those were their like chairs where they would sit, like there in the bedroom. She would sit on the rocking chair and he would sit there, and they would just have like long conversations, and they would just talk with each other. And I mean, those are the moments that she, you know, really appreciated and always thinks about. Another thing, her favorite color was yellow. He hated the color yellow, but she just loved it and he appreciated it. He didn't mind the fact of yellow, so that's why there's so much yellow everywhere, just so you know. But okay, so over there by the desk, if you can see, all of his like books, his papers, he was a writer, so all of his papers and his envelopes from his fans and all of that, they were all just lying there, and she couldn't find the heart to, you know, take it away because it's his, and she doesn't feel right of throwing it away or like putting it somewhere in like a storage place. She feels like she still wants to see it, and she wants to feel as if he is still there with her. So there's even like a book on the dining table that was his last book that he wrote, and exactly, it's so sad. But that was like his last book that he wrote, and she just didn't want to touch it because she felt like he's still gonna come back and continue writing the book to kind of put it out there. And it's very sad, I don't know. But okay, that is her story. Now in our next apartment, oh my gosh, so much fun when I did this apartment. I don't know why, but it just reminded me of those like typical movies where, I can't remember, there's a specific movie that just reminds me of this kind of like house where it's just like colorful and it's bright. I don't know why, but I'm thinking of like Pitch Perfect. If it was like, I'm not actually sure now, but there was a part where I think it was Pitch Perfect, and then they like visit the apartment, Amy's apartment, and then I don't think it's Pitch Perfect, but it's a movie related to her. She plays in there as well, and she has this like apartment that's just like filled with all of these fun things and just crazy colorful things. So I felt like I was decorating her house basically. But it was so much fun to do this. I felt like, especially with like the packs that I've recently gotten, it's allowed me to kind of feel a little more creative and stuff. And it's so amazing like how a pack can have like a big influence in what you do and all of that. So I was very happy that I could create this, and I would honestly stay here. I'm not a girl for like colorful things, but I feel like I would honestly stay here. I feel like I would be constantly happy in this house, and I'm all for that. So I feel like I would also love to be friends with her, because she's just a jolly person. She doesn't care. She just, you know, she will do anything. She will drop every single thing in her life just to be there and support you. So I just love that. But as you can see, like, I also put a lot of paintings throughout the apartment, because obviously that's her paintings that she's done already, but she's not really happy where she wants to put those ones in the coffee shop. So that's why it's kind of put in her apartment, and she's still deciding basically. But yeah, definitely let me know which one is your favorite apartment. I had so much fun doing all of these, and I feel like I definitely want to do a little bit more commercial arts, but we'll see how it goes. But I had a lot of fun, and definitely let me know which one is your favorite. I have to say my favorite is the last one, the coffee shop, just because I feel like it's a style that I would love to go to, like a coffee shop that I'd love to go through. But then I'll go visit Granny, you know, just to make sure she's okay, and then I'll go visit a culinary boy, just so I can like be like, I'm proud of you. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day further, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.